Alright guys, welcome back. Today's video is pretty much going to be about my 15-year-old 335i. So I have a 2007 BMW 335i. It's a 6-speed. It's got about 120,000 miles on it, but stuff is starting to fall apart, to keep it short. The car's been a great daily. It's been getting me around everywhere, and everywhere. It takes me up to LA, I drive back down to San Diego. I live in the middle in between of those, and it's never skipped a beat. I've done a little bit of maintenance on it, and I'm not going to tell you I went crazy on it, but I'm also going to tell you what I did on it, so that way you don't think that I'm just complaining about it and I've never done any maintenance on it and I'm a terrible N54 owner. Alright, so before I threw the big turbo on it, because this is 62, 66 single turbo, before I threw the big turbo on it, I did all of the cooling system. Pretty much I got the thermostat, the water pump, I cleared all that out. I reran all the hoses because you have to switch the sides where the coolant, external coolant tank is, switch it over to the other side, so you have to change all of that. I switched from the OEM motor mounts to the hard solid race mounts. I'll show you guys which ones. I got a pretty good deal on them. There were some red ones and I really enjoyed them. It made the car just feel like super solid. It feels a lot more like a race car. And for a BMW, you know that you don't get that connected feeling usually. After I switched to the race mounts, it definitely gave me that connected feeling. So yeah, for the turbo kit, it's got the Dock Race, so it was about 5K, so you know I'm not cheaping out. It's also got NGK spark plugs, Eldor coil packs. I've done the valve cover gasket, the oil filter housing gasket. It's got quite a bit of stuff done to it, but even now it's still continuing to break down. It is a 15-year-old car, it's expected, but let me show you just some of the stuff that I'm still gonna continue to battle. Just give you an idea of what to expect if yours is coming closer to that age, or just starting to rack up those miles, or just, you know, depending on where you live. I live in California where the weather is actually pretty good, so I can only imagine how it would be if I lived somewhere like dusty or like where I have to deal with the salt from the winter. So yeah, let's go check it out. All right, let's start off with the exterior first. This is gonna be the most obvious, so as you really can't tell, let's start off with this. This thing is pretty janky. From the moment I bought it on Amazon, it's been pretty crap. Yeah, don't order car parts on Amazon because that's a total waste of money. The way it's designed, it doesn't really work that well. Second of all, I would say this bumper. As you can see, this thing's coming apart. When you look at my photos, you can see it kind of if you pay attention. Yeah, I try not to show that part of the car. Right here, same thing. It's just pretty bad. I tried to paint it and sand it one time and it just made it worse. Now when you take pictures, you can kind of see like the two different tones of the color. So it's been kind of crappy. The way that happened was I forgot where I was parked and they had one of those like little concrete slabs, whatever. And as soon as I turned on the car, I tried to go. Bumper went over it, and as soon as I pulled out, I ripped the bumper off. That was super unfortunate. The paint is starting to get messed up. As you can see, there's a ton of like swirls. I've never got it detailed, to be honest, since I've owned the car, so that's probably my fault. And it's been parked outside most of its life also. Yeah, like I said, the sun is eating up everything at the top. All of this is like super ate up. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's got like no clear coat anymore, so it's trash. The trunk, it used to have a carbon fiber trunk, and this one I had it stored away in my closet. I don't know what I had it on top of, but people decided it was like a good place to put a vase or something, and it just scratched up my whole trunk. So the trunk's got scratches on it. That's something else that needs to get fixed. So yeah, in general, the whole car just needs a whole new paint job. I really love this color, so I probably will not be changing colors. I'll probably just be retouching it. Also, the new G80 M3 has this similar color, so I love it. If I could somehow own both, I would love to have them both in that green. Imagine them parked next to each other. Oh yeah. So I ended up getting these headlights because the OEM ones were all yellow and crusty. And these look a lot better. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for them, but ever since I put them, the bumper just looks like crap. Yeah, ever since I placed those headlights, the bumper just hasn't fit right. I don't know if it was like my error install or whatever, but I really think it was the headlights just because they didn't have the tabs for the harnesses, the plastic harnesses that connect to the actual body itself. It just doesn't sit right. I had to zip tie it, so they're not the best headlights either. They're just kind of just like a project race car. I'm not too worried about the outside. I've never been worried about the outside, as you can tell. Right now it looks super stock, and it just helps me with the cops. Like a few minutes ago, there's a cop coming up and down. He's not really messing with me. It looks pretty stock, just on some nice wheels, you know, nothing crazy. So it's useful. It comes in handy to just have it mellowed out, especially here in California. Also, suspension. Yeah, so suspension wise, it's still on the OEM M Sport suspension. I don't even know if that's a real thing, honestly. I'm not a super Beamer fanboy yet. I'm learning still. But I have been told that it looks like it's on a pretty nice height, but it's all OEM. I haven't touched it at all. Fortunately though, the passenger side strut is starting to go bad, and it's kind of making the car wobble from time to time when I'm like on long trips or something. Whenever I go over a bump, the strut does hit kind of hard, and just on this side alone, so I know that it is going bad. That's something that I gotta fix. All right, so before the cop comes back to bother me as to why I'm here at the parking lot working or taking a video or whatever, I'm gonna show you guys real quick what's underneath the hood and what kind of problems I'm facing there. It's got the big single turbo, like I said. This tank, you know, you have to move it over from this side over to this side. So I did the whole cooling thing, thermostat, water pump. It's got the charge pipe. I guess you can say that's kind of maintenance since I don't have to deal with plastic one anymore. Gaskets are all good. It's not leaking anything. Nothing crazy, right? It's just really dusty and dirty because I've never detailed it. High pressure fuel pump. That's something else that's going out. That's about, I don't know, like $700 to $1,000 at the moment for just this little pump down here. Sorry, I pointed over here, but it's down there. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer right now. That's something that is giving me problems. By problems, I mean, I've been trying to start up the car when it's cold, and it's been giving me harder, longer cranks. And also something else that it does is when it's really cold outside, if I turn on the car, my coolant fan or the fan, the radiator fan, whatever, the fan kicks on high and it just stays on until the car warms up, or I drive it on the freeway or something. I'm not sure if that's exactly the high pressure fuel pump. I believe it is because I've already ran the coolant. The pump works. The thermostat, I mean, I never get any overheating lights or anything like that. So I'm not sure if it's that. If you guys have a suggestion, let me know, please. But other than that, I'm gonna say that it's a high pressure fuel pump, so that's what I'm gonna replace next. And also, when I got tuned the first time on stock turbos, 21 PSI, my tuner, he had told me that the high pressure fuel pump was starting to go bad, and that was like 3 years ago. So I mean, it came this far, but it's time to replace it. That's just something normal in these cars to go bad, and it's came this far, so I'm really happy. Something else that I'm currently struggling with, and this just happened, I know it's something that you have to replace even when you have stock turbos. That's gonna be your boost lines. Boost lines always burn up, they always go bad. I had heat protectant on mine because they run right next to the turbo. They run down, they're really well protected. Besides this one, I have like a different type of heat shield. Even then, I run into like small issues here and there where it gets too close to like the header, or one of the boost lines just pops off for whatever reason. So it's just something that like you have to keep getting underneath the car and checking. I'd say that's something that goes bad consistently, you know? Something else that I replaced when I did the hard motor mounts was the belt. The reason I even did the hard motor mounts was to save the belt. I heard that if you had the soft OEM mounts, that sometimes the belt would slip. The reason it would slip is because vibrations from doing a pull, it would smack the bottom and it would kick out the belt. I don't know if that's true, but I've never had an issue with the belt, and I've had the hard motor mounts for a long time. And like I said, I did that belt maybe 2-3 years ago, and it still looks pretty good. I haven't had a problem with it, but that is another maintenance item that I did buy and put into this. So the pulleys, did those as well. That's something that you got to replace. Just because they're plastic, you don't want to, they get loose over time, and it's got metal bolts, so it's just something to look out for. Oil pan gasket, when I did the turbo kit, I ended up doing that just because every time I'd go underneath the car, it was such an oily mess, and it was happening from the oil pan gasket. It was leaking, and that was kind of getting into everything else, the transmission, diff, the drive shaft. It was all messy. It was just ruining everything. So always fix your leaks before spread out and just kind of ruin everything else, as you'll just have to go in there and clean it, and it's just gonna look dirty. It makes your car look older than what it is. So yeah, try to stay on top of that, you guys. Something else that's going bad that just really bugs me, and it's something small. It's not like anything major, but it's just something that I haven't fixed. I haven't fixed any of these things. I haven't fixed any of these things because I've been allocating the money towards the business instead. But it is time to start taking care of this thing at least a little bit, just give it a little bit of love. So I am gonna start taking care of these things one by one. But the thing that's been bugging me the most, especially with the business or just trying to like get in and out, especially right now as a videographer, camera guy, whatever, YouTuber, you always have cameras, right? So in my trunk, this thing is out. It's fallen on me so many times. It's hit me on the head so many times. That's probably the most annoying thing out of this whole car so far. But that's something that goes bad all the time. I don't know how expensive they are. They're probably not that expensive. Like I said, I haven't looked for it, but it's my biggest pet peeve with this car so far. I've pretty much showed you everything that's wrong with on the outside. Underneath the hood, some of the problems I'm facing are just some of the maintenance things. I'm sure I'm missing something. Injectors. I'm still on Index 1 injectors, which I've heard are the best, but I would like to go to Index 12 for peace of mind. Let me know what you guys think at the bottom, but that's something else that needs to be done. Also, my brakes, they're going bad. I already got the warning light. But since I've owned the car for maybe 4 or 5 years, I've never replaced the brakes, which is crazy considering the amount of times we've been hauling ass and just had to come to a stop. But yeah, I've never replaced the brakes. The light finally came on. That's something else that I need to check out. So after I showed you pretty much everything underneath the hood, everything on the outside, I'm gonna show you some of the problems I'm facing on the inside, the interior, some of the annoyances in there. All right, so first off, so it's got these lights and the airbag lights. So the ABS lights on the left, those lights are either going to be for a wheel speed sensor, which is 60 bucks or so, depending on which corner is bad, or you can do all four. Or it's going to be this ABS pump over here that's just going bad. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It used to go off intermittently, but as of recently it's just stayed on. I haven't been able to clear it. Also on the right side, it has codes for the airbags. I'm not sure exactly which codes they are. I've never really ran them. Those randomly popped up. I thought I had turned off all the monitors when I put the race seats inside, but for some reason, that one just popped out randomly and I haven't been able to clear it. I tried clearing it once, but it just kept popping back up. I'm not sure if something got disconnected underneath the seat, because I do have one connection still plugged in there. Maybe it's the one that I left on, but I just haven't been able to fix it. That's something else that I need to fix. I haven't been able to give it time. I know how to do all these things. I just haven't been able to put the time into it, but I promise. It's gonna allow me to make a lot more YouTube videos for you guys, and also just allow me to have a cooler car, have more content with. As soon as the car gets more reliable, I do plan to take it to more events. I know I've been saying that a lot, but honestly, the car is just giving me so many problems that I don't even wanna work on it. I don't even wanna build it. It's just been kind of annoying. I wanted a new car, or just something automatic also. The stick shift and the daily with the boost leaks and whatnot, is just, some days it runs great, some days it runs like crap, and that's just kind of the N54 life. I'm sure you guys understand my struggle. So yeah, that pretty much sums up about all the problems that I'm facing currently with the BMW and some of the problems that I try to avoid. With all that being said, I would not trade this car for another car under 10,000. That is, I would have to get like something crazy to replace this car. For the amount of money that I spend on it and the amount of fun that it gives me when it does run, this thing is insane. It makes almost 500 horsepower on 91, and that's 91. As soon as I get this thing on the 85, it's gonna make like 600. I spent 9,000 on the car, and it's gonna be taking out cars that are 5-6 times that. So on top of that, it has a timeless classic look. Nobody really suspects anything of it, especially the way that I have mine. So that's something else that I like. I don't have police messing with me all the time. People love the brand, people love the car. But yeah, it's allowed me to create a lot of content. I've learned so much ever since owning this car, on tuning, on maintenance, on working on your car. It's improved my life by like 100 times, just owning the car and the lifestyle that the 335i has brought me. So for that, I am super grateful. Like I said, I don't plan on selling the car. I'm actually gonna work on these things little by little, and I plan to continue to knock these things out, these goals, and hopefully get this thing on the track for a half-mile racing, quarter-mile racing, eighth mile, whatever we can do. Even like autocross, learn how to drift, whatever. I mean, the car isn't like too set up one way. It doesn't have like a drag pack. I mean, it's got the big turbo, but you can use that for anything. I hope I didn't discourage you guys from buying a 335i. It's still a great car. It's just some stuff you got to watch out for, or you really do have to like get ahead on the maintenance for a while. I got ahead like 2-3 years, but now those 2-3 years are up and it needs a second round of maintenance. Hope to see a lot of new 335i owners. Let me know in the comments what mod you think I should throw on next, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys what a little bit of camera magic can do with this car. Even though it's all messed up, I'll show you guys everything that's wrong with it. Here's some pictures for you guys real quick. Enjoy.